Authentic creators have been the talk of 2024.
And I think you're good. Don't sweat it too much.
With everyone trying to shift from that over-edited Mr. Beast style
I rented a $1 million a night hotel
to more raw and real content, whatever authentic style means, right? Now that's why I've analyzed the top 25 authentic or low effort style creators to understand why they can seemingly just turn on this camera, have no edits,
This thing on?
and everybody listens to them. What do these authentic creators do or have that you don't? And more importantly, how can you do this for yourself where you have every single creator jealous of you because you just post a video, it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and you're not spending any time editing the video and people just listen to you? Well, through my analysis of over 200 videos of the top authentic creators over a 30-day period, I've cracked the code on this authentic style. It was apparent to me that these authentic creators follow a 3-part formula that you can follow, and one of them is your terrible personality. I'm kidding. Before you start searching how to change your personality videos on YouTube, you should know that the personality is just one element to why these authentic creators do so well. But it's not the driving factor to why these authentic creators can just sit down, record with a potato of a camera, and hit upload and just get millions of views. This video will be going over what this 3-part formula is and how you can execute on it for you to master this authentic style. And the first part is the most important. Part 1, positioning of your character. How you position you yourself, the character, in the eyes of your audience. It's what gets people to initially stop and listen to you without all this attention hacking and editing tactics. Now, all these authentic creators have positioned themselves as an aspiration to their audience. This tweet from Mark Manson describes it the best. If the main draw of the creator is, I want to be just like this person, then being as unedited and unfiltered as possible is better. You, the creator, need to be highly admirable to your audience. It's the same concept on why all entrepreneurs just foam at the mouth when a video of Steve Jobs is posted. They know that he's super successful and changed many of lives. Most entrepreneurs want to do that, so that's why they listen to him when he speaks. Now, you don't need to be a billionaire or some expert to position yourself as an admiration to your audience. It's all about how you present yourself to your audience. And I'll show you how to do just that, even if you are a loser. For now, let's look at how these authentic creators position themselves. And some of them consciously and purposely do this, and others, like Sam Sulek, position themselves as an admiration naturally. Sam Sulek has this insanely jacked body for a 22-year-old. Any guy from the age of 16 to 35 wants to gain muscle like him in the gym. His audience is basically filled with a large group of people who want to be just like him. The raw, unfiltered, authentic style of content makes sense because it's the most honest version of what it takes to be that big. It's not anything particular that what Sam is saying that puts him in that position of admiration. It's just the proof of seeing his physique or his jacked body that gets you to listen to him in the first place. Now, this is just part 1 of the ingredients, but let's look at another creator, Hamza. Hamza here has positioned himself as the guy that every teenage male wants to be like. Once again, Mark Manson explained this perfectly. He said, I'd be willing to guess that a lot of his audience is young Asian guys. He's basically the nerd who got the six-pack and won the girl. Therefore, unedited monologues work in favor because it feels like you're sitting at a table with the big brother you always wanted but never had. Hamza is basically that smart, successful, well-articulate guy who has an amazing life, amazing relationships that practically every teenage dude wants. People are just gonna naturally listen to him because he's in this position of admiration. People want to be just like him. Looking at a female creator, the Wizard Liz, she just gets millions of views by sitting down and talking on camera. She's an admirable figure to a lot of women. You can see that she's smart, rich, beautiful, and has an amazing life. Women are automatically going to listen to her in anything that she says because she's that person that a lot of women want to be. Looking at this guy, Dry Creek Wrangler, on the surface, it seems like his YouTube channel is all about horses, riding, saddles, and wrangling. However, watching his videos, you quickly notice that this guy is another version of the ideal man. He's this cowboy looking figure with a deep voice, smoking cigars, big beard, and represents masculinity all in one picture. The people who watch his content aspire to be just like him. And this positioning of being an aspiration to your audience automatically makes you the ultimate authority figure. And people will always listen to what an authority figure has to say. But now the biggest question is, how do you do this yourself? There's a couple ways to do this. One could be by the way you look or what you do. Like Sam Sulek, the Dry Creek Wrangler, the Wizard Liz. These three characters are automatically positioned as an authority and aspiration to their audience just by the way they look. The second way is how you speak within your content. Hamza often talks about how to make money, how to get the girl of your dreams, how to get a great body. When you talk about these deep desires that everybody wants and you show that you have it, this automatically positions yourself where people want to be just like you. These two guys, Cardinal Mason and Sander Sage, heavily rely on this. A lot of their content is them telling you or showing you that they have a ton of money. But like I was saying before, to do this yourself, you don't necessarily have to have a whole bunch of money or be this jacked guy or super masculine figure. It could be as simple as what one of my favorite creators is doing. Lucas Pachter. Looking at short form content, he's been pulling absolute numbers. And what makes him different from all the other authentic creators that I've mentioned is that he's actively documenting and showing himself becoming the person that everyone wants to be like. If you look at his content history, he has been documenting himself building a business, working out, and talking about life experiences. And even he himself admits that he was this nerdy guy, but now he's basically becoming that person that everyone wants to be friends with. He isn't making millions yet, but through the advice that he gives about relationships, friendships, and being a better man, his audience aspires to be like him. And another really quick example is Mind Hacks. His content is all about being a great communicator. He's not rich or has six-pack abs that I know of, but he's a great communicator and has a positive mindset. This is enough to cultivate an audience that wants to be a great communicator and have a healthy mindset just like him. If you don't have millions of dollars or expert level skill, all you really need to be is one step ahead of our particular audience. To put this in real simple terms, if I just learned how to make $1,000 online, then I'll talk from a position of authority and communicate how you can do the same exact thing, make $1,000, all to an audience who has never made $1,000 online before. Now look, having an admiration that falls within an audience's deep desires and pain points is usually the best. It's an extreme desire for most people to want to be successful, be physically fit, communicate and speak well, and also for guys, be very masculine. So the best plan for you to be seen as an admiration to an audience is one, to talk or show proof that you are in this position that everyone wants. And remember, it doesn't have to be this crazy, lavish lifestyle or anything. It could be you just constantly sharing that you're one step ahead of a particular audience. But part one isn't always effective if you don't have the other ingredients to the formula. You can be an ultra rich, famous dude who has six-pack abs and is a total D-bag. And this person can have tons of employees that listen to him, but deep down they may despise him. And that's why part two to the authentic formula is extremely important. So now you positioned yourself as an admiration for maximum authority. And now it's time for part two, framing. So positioning in this case is who you are that makes you stand out from everybody else. Money, cars, jack dude, peak masculinity. Could be that you're a really great mathematician, really great at chess. And framing is what you do to influence the perception of yourself to your audience. And what I really mean by this is that every authentic creator does a great job at framing themselves as just like their audience, meaning that they have a maximum amount of relatability. Some authentic creators do this consciously and some others do this naturally. Back to Sam Sulek. He's that bodybuilder that everyone aspires to be. However, everyone loves him for his down-to-earth personality. Most people would assume that Sam Sulek is this gym bro-esque type of character, as that would match how he looks. In reality, through his content, you can see he's just this level-head, humble dude who doesn't fit that typical stereotype of a gym bro. It's as simple as him having anime air fresheners that people notice. Most people wouldn't expect a gym bro to be into anime like that, or funny, awkward interactions that he has with women at the gym. This makes him super relatable because as his audience probably struggles or has funny, awkward interactions with women, because his main audience is probably like 16 to 25. Things like this make it seem like just like his audience, the people who are viewing his videos. It's like when somebody tells you that they met a celebrity that was a really down-to-earth, chill person. Automatically, you're gonna like that celebrity more because you were thinking that they're gonna be this arrogant, egotistical person. The same concept is happening here. So you need to be in this position of admiration, but frame yourself as a relatable person. And the best way to max out this relatability ingredient is through personal stories. We see this through a creator like Dry Creek Wrangler, often relating to the audience by giving a personal story and conveying that he was once in their audience's position. Other creators like Cardinal Mason often frame himself as just like the audience by telling them personal stories on how he was broke at one point. Hamza does the same here. He gives personal stories on how he was this skinny nerd, couldn't talk to girls, and what he's done to change that. Him sharing these stories makes him feel way more relatable. Sander Sage is someone who has been blowing up recently. He'll create a video titled Raw Reality of Making $500K per month. This video is perfectly designed to position him himself as an extremely rich person, just by the title and obviously the really fancy and expensive cabin that he's in. This is where people see him as this admirable figure. But during the video, he frames himself as just one of you, where he says things like,
I used to play a lot of video games as a kid. World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, you name it.
He's telling you that he used to binge playing games, which is something typical that his targeted audience probably has done or is currently doing. He's someone who's actually consciously trying to make himself more relatable on purpose. So this authentic style may not be that authentic. Unlike someone like Sam, who's just naturally doing this through him just documenting his life. Lucas Pachter on TikTok, who's starting his clothing brand, a lot of his content is recounting personal stories. He'll talk about how he wasn't an athletic kid, how he's messed up with relationships with girls and been cheated on, or he'll talk about what's going wrong and his failures within his business. That's all super relatable. And also a lot of his videos are centered around this deep desire of men, like how to get into a cool friend group, how to be successful, relationship advice. And these content topics all tie back to personal stories that he tells you where he once failed, which makes him seem super relatable. But at the same time, he's actively showing you that he's this admirable guy. Basically through his content, he's like that really cool fraternity bro that people just want to be friends with. So what you need to do is implement a ton of personal stories into your content, particularly personal stories that show an audience, 1, you're just like them, 2, hits on a deep desire or pain point, and 3, how you accomplish getting over that obstacle or pain point, which then puts you in that admirable position again. All right, so now that you have positioned yourself as an admirable character by showing proof of who you are, we're talking about particular desires that you have that other people want, and then you frame yourself as an extremely relatable character through personal stories, failures, or common interests amongst your audience. It's now time to add on the third part to the formula. Now the third part is a mixture of ingredients that are all used to help boost the first 2 parts. You don't need all these things that I'm about to tell you, but they certainly help. Number 1, validated style. Most people don't actually know this, but Sam Solik's content style isn't anything new, and it was actually done by a creator before him, and that's Rich Pineda. Yes, the raw, unfiltered lifestyle content that Sam does is a carbon copy of Rich Pineda's content style. And Sam has even said it before that Rich Pineda is one of his idols and his content is mimicked after him. Center Sage's content and how he speaks is a carbon copy of another big time YouTuber before him, Alex Becker. So the content topics that he's talking about and how he presents them are already validated by Alex Becker because his videos went viral before. Hamza uses a lot of validated topics himself. On Hamza's Unfiltered channel, he presents stories that people in his community really want him to make a video on. So they're already validated by a group of people who are very interested in a particular topic. So when he makes a video on it, it's just naturally gonna do well because it was validated. Number 2 is storytelling and articulation. I can make a separate video on both these 2 attributes here, but obviously being a great storyteller and knowing how to structure stories is a way to get people to just listen to you naturally. If you want to learn how to be a better storyteller through social media, then fill out our application to see if you can be let into our exclusive community. Here you'll have access to a bunch of creators, calls with myself and the team, as well as a ton of upcoming courses like storytelling. And we only let a few people in each month. So fill out the application to see if you qualify to be let in. The link is in the description. Going over to Alex Becker, as I mentioned before, he's someone who's really great at articulating concepts and ideas. This just makes it easier for his viewers to follow along and feel like they're getting a ton of value. Number 3, don't script. This may seem obvious to some, but I guarantee you there's going to be people trying to script their whole entire video and then somehow try to make it feel authentic through the camera, but it completely gets away from the point of this type of content. These top creators aren't scripting their authentic content. That's why being a great storyteller is one attribute that you need. But also your natural personality comes out through this unfiltered, freely speaking type of content that makes you unique from everybody else. So if you're reading word by word from the script, then you need to rewatch this video because you're missing key purpose of being authentic. Number 4 is pain points and desires. Throughout this video, I mentioned pain points and desires before. Almost all of these authentic creators' content is really centered around these extremely deep pain points and desires from a large group of people. Center Sage, Cardinal Mason, Hamza, Dry Creek Wrangler, Lucas Pachter, all have content topics that hit on the biggest desires and pain points of young men, which is talking to girls, getting money, finding a valuable group of friends, being successful in life, and having a six-pack abs, etc. This type of content initially gets people to just even be interested in what you're going to talk about and click on your video. Centering your content topics around these deep desires like they do automatically gets gets people wanting to listen to what you're even going to say, even if they don't know who you are yet. With that, you finally added all the ingredients to the formula that your character needs to have to go out and do this authentic style of content and be successful at it. Find a way to make yourself admirable where people want to be just like you by talking from a position of authority by a particular subject, showing proof that you're in this position of admiration, talking about how you have these deep desires that audience members want. Then relate back to the audience. Show them that you are one of them, and you could do this by sharing a ton of personal stories, showing how you overcame obstacles and pain points to get to the audience's desires, and also talk about common interests that you may have with your audience. And then finally, stack on topic validation and style validation while becoming better at storytelling and articulation. Always talk about deep pain points and desires. And finally, don't script. And then you'll be able to sit down, record with a potato of a camera, put the SD card into your computer, hit upload without editing the video at all, and make all the other YouTubers jealous because you're not spending any time on content creation.